Hey everyone, Sandy here, and I'm back with another video for my video a day in July. And today I am combining it with today's Instagram challenge, but by the time you see this video, it'll be yesterday's Instagram challenge from Shamel. It is something big, and I already know what my something big is going to be, and it's going to be my title. And I have these old big Daisy D punch-out letters that I have had this for, I don't know, years. And I'm just going to trace and cut because these don't really go with what I want to do this layout about. So something big is going to be my title. Okay. I'm actually going to scrapbook this photo strip from the New York hotel in Las Vegas. This is me and my son. We were goofing around while the girls were on the roller coaster. We didn't want to go on the roller coaster. I pulled out some things. I pulled out these word stickers from, or chipboard word stickers from Freckled Fawn. I pulled out some of these borders from Teresa Collins and Doodlebug. I also have this thing, which I've pulled out before for a layout and never used it. It's just a chipboard thicker from American Crafts. I've got these little die cuts from Some Simple Stories pack. Some cameras, because you have to have cameras when you're doing a photo strip, right? Some of these stars. I think I'm going with the blue and the silver. I think I'm staying away from the gold this time. A couple of these foamy words. A couple acrylic frames. A sheet of cardstock, a doily, a star, Project Life card, some more word stickers, label stickers, another card, and this sheet of paper, which is from Shamel's True Stories collection. It's English Breakfast, and I'm using the B-side. These dots, I don't remember where the sheet came from, but I know I recently scrapbooked with it because this is the gutted out section. And then I'm going to be using this striped side of this Flutter paper from Fancy Pants. Ooh, and I also have these little guys. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you saw I played with Shrinky Dinks a couple days ago. And I punched these out with a little punch and shrunk them up. And I'm going to use them as something where I would use like enamel elements on. I did have 6 of these. I've lost one of these little teeny guys, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Well, let's see what we can do. So I just start here by cutting off that little bit of a branding strip. I save it because I like it. I like the little captured life right there. I decide that I'm going to put a bunch of vertical elements on my page on the left-hand side of the page. And then make my photo strip go down. I'm thinking about, I want a big title, so that's in the back of my head as I'm doing this photo strip. And I really like this kind of burnt orangey color that I'm using right here, but I didn't have a sheet long enough. It was in one of those scrap basil pads where, you know, it came with the cardstock that was in these certain size sheets. So I just go back to what I used to do, and I just make it work. And I figure I can cover up at least one of those cut lines with some of the elements I'm planning on pulling in for the page, but the other one I'm just not even going to worry about it. So I decide that I am going to layer this photo strip up, and at first I pulled out that ticket because I was thinking I was going to make a vertical element out of it. That didn't happen. But, oh well. And here how I have this lined up, I was thinking that that sparkly border would go right underneath the photo like that. However, somehow I forget that that's how I wanted it to be laid out when I actually go to glue down things. I'm discovering that I do that a lot since I've been making YouTube videos and actually watch myself scrapbook. Couple things I've discovered. I'm basically all over the place. I move from part to part of the page until I am happy completely with the page or happy that it's done. And if I lay something down in a certain way, and if I pick it up, I will change it. I think having the little camera on puts a little bit of extra pressure, because if you end up with something horrible, then you don't want to share it. But basically, I just forgot what in the world I was doing, and I'm here and I'm like, wait a second. Wait, was that what I was doing? Whatever. So, and then I think that this thing has adhesive on the back because of the thickness of it. So I checked the package and there's no adhesive on the back of there. So I just decide to lay it down this way and go for what I've got. And I really like this and think if I would have done it the other way, I wouldn't have had all that sparkly border showing. And frankly, I love that sparkly border. I mean, I'm scrapbooking pictures of a trip to Vegas. Vegas is definitely showy, and sparkly is showy, so it works for me. So these little doodlebug frills, I think they're called, were in red, but I really wanted the white side, so I just turned it over, and I didn't feel like lifting up that paper to put the whole thing under it. So I just cut it off. And I'm so excited I'm finally using that chipboard thicker piece. It's been hanging around my scrapbook room for years and years, and I always thought I would have it on the left or right, on the side of a photo, or maybe even the top or bottom, depending upon the orientation, whether it was portrait or landscape. And I'm glad I just finally did it. So I trimmed down that little Project Life card. I think it's actually a Simple Stories snap card. I trimmed that down because I'm not exactly happy with the rectangle shape, and I know that the frames I have are kind of more to the square shape. So I think that I need to make the card into that shape a little bit more. I cut apart that white acrylic frame and put it up there on the edge, but I don't like it. It's going to eventually come off. And I'm just figuring out the placement for the title. There's going to be more words in the title, but that is where the title is going to be. And I'm not sticking anything down because I know that I don't want that star to be open. I want something to be behind that star. I want it backed with something. And I was going to go with Smile at the New York, but I end up going with Giggles at the... Because really, we were having a ball in this photo booth. We were acting goofy, and it was just a lot of fun. And I pull out some letter stickers, because I think I'm going to use those dark navy ones right there, and I'm just staring at it for a second before I decide, no, that's not really what I wanted. And I'm out looking for other letter stickers, and I go with this orange. I've said it before, and I will say it again. I absolutely love orange in scrapbooking. Love it. Alright, so I pull out the little distress inks again, and I decide I'm going to ink up that green, because it's kind of flat. And I like the little teal color that went around it. It goes with the rest of the teal aqua shades going on in the layout. And then I pull out the stars, and I was thinking of mixing up the silver and the blue because I have that big sparkly border that's in the silver. However, I just decided to go with the blue because I want it more sparkle on the page, not necessarily more silver. And I just mess around with these stars and figure out where exactly I want them to go while I'm... And I was thinking about covering up that little piece of join for that orange basil, but I don't. And then I decide, you know what, I didn't pull out the ticket thing yet. I'm going to punch out a ticket. And this little bee ticket punch is so smooth and so nice, and I love that you can tear the tickets and it actually perforates. Like, that's awesome to me. So I go ahead and decide to go with a little bit of a horizontal element up at the top here. And I figure that's okay. I've got some horizontal stuff peeking out behind the photo strip as well. And I decide that I'm going to use a phrase, but then I realize I can't keep it all in one long phrase. I'm going to have to cut it up. So I just stick it back on the sheet for a second while I mess around with another section. I just drop that and decide that I needed something under that star. It was getting on my nerves, and the other project life card I had didn't work, so I flipped through this little adhesive backed cardstock pad, and I pick a very neutral color, similar to what is in the background with that beigey polka dot, but a little bit darker. So now it's time to get committed to what I've done, and I start gluing things down. I go back and forth where I don't know if I should, set everything up and then glue it down, or just glue as I go. Because when I glue as I go, I find that I'm peeling stuff up to put layers underneath, and when I set stuff down and then glue at the end, I forget how I had it. So one of these days, maybe eventually I'll figure out how to actually scrapbook. Okay. So that's good, and I'm happy with that. And there's nothing going in that frame, that blue acrylic frame, and I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with it just being a decoration sticking out of that little star card. So I have to put adhesive on the back of these stars because it is a chipboard adhesive, and I haven't really found any chipboard adhesive that stays for the long haul. I'm sure there's some out there. I hope there's some out there, but I just haven't been able to find it. All right, we get some more of this little bit of inking around the edges, and there I had a really crooked angle on that sheet of paper, so I just had to trim it off. And I finally get the little piece of green paper, and it is an offcut of that star journaling card, so it matches exactly. And then I decide I'm going to go ahead and put that phrase sticker up there, and it says, "You make me smile." And I'm cool with the placement, hooray. And then here I go getting that finally getting that little white chipboard sticker down on the page, and I am ecstatic that it's down. I pull off a couple little stickers from this little sticker sheet from Bella Boulevard, and I mess around with it a little bit. That orange sticker, I don't believe ends up staying there because I add a little label in there. There was a little bit of ATG sticking through, so I had to fix that. I pick out the little black and white camera and put it there kind of as an anchoring point, and I'm going to put a vertical label sticker under it as well. But I get this little teeny journaling sticker on there, and I futz around with it trying to figure out where exactly the best placement will be so that this little orange star sticker can overlap nicely, and I finally get it. And I'm not saying a whole lot about this photo. Basically, I'm going to say, yep, this is what we did. We took some photo booth pictures, and it was fun. So I put that little strip down there because I was going to write the date on it, and I've just realized I haven't written the date yet. I seem to do that a lot. I either get on a kick where I am dating everything on my pages, or I just completely forget and don't even put it down. So now that I'm watching this and I'm realizing I didn't actually write it down, I can go back and do that. Alright, so I picked out where those little shrinky dink pieces were going to go, and I used one as a dot over the eye. I turned off the camera and went and traced and cut my NY, and then I decided to emboss it with a star embossing folder as well, just to give it a little bit of texture, because it was going to be just this solid color letters down there. I didn't pick a pattern or anything, I just want this solid color. So I add a little bit of definition around the edges by using my Distress ink, and I'm working on getting them positioned. And I actually turn off the camera and look back to what I had done on the video, because I wasn't sure if I had overlapped them or if they weren't overlapped. I just wasn't sure what I had done, and I really liked it. So I turned off the video and then figured it out and glued it down. Pretty sad when you have to turn off the video. I guess I could have, well, I couldn't have even taken a picture of it with my phone, because I'm currently videotaping with my phone. My goal is, when I get 100 subscribers, is to actually invest in a tripod and an arm, and then I will actually be able to scrapbook where I normally scrapbook and won't have to stand over on a little desk that I usually do my art journaling on. So I use this little crystal katana sticky wax thingy. Not exactly sure. I think it's wax, just to pick up these little teeny tiny shrinky dinks and put them down. And I definitely use more glue than I needed to, because it's spurting out the edges a little bit. But it's going to dry clear and it's going to dry matte, so I think it's going to be fine. So I just get those pieces all stuck on there really nicely, and I'm super excited about it. And I'm gluing with my left hand, and I'm a right-handed person, so it feels awkward. I'm even looking at this and it's like, you're doing it awkwardly, Sandy. Like, what's wrong with you? So I get that done, and I think I'm finished with the page, and then I realize, oh, I need to get that journaling on there. So I find a Pitt pen. What am I doing? Oh, the Y was poking up, so I added a little bit more adhesive. But I am going to be grabbing a Pitt pen here shortly, hopefully. How long does it take you to find a pen, Sandy? All right, there you go. So I just add the little bit of journaling, and Booth looks more like Luth as I'm writing it, so I just add a little extra line. And I just go with it. I mean, I have looked back at my albums, and I have spelling mistakes, I have grammatic mistakes, I have places where I don't even like cross a T or dot an I, and right now it's the way it is. And here I'm thinking it's done, so I'm pulling it up for a close-up, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, there's this big black camera in the center of the page, and there's some black writing, and there's not really black anywhere else except for right there in the center, and I feel like I have to pull it out a little bit. So I grab my pen again, and I decide that I am going to outline around the edges. And I actually cut out a lot of this video because a lot of it was just the back of my head, and you saw nothing else. So there we go, and that's just me straightening up and darkening up the lines a little bit, and boom, now I am finally finished. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you tune in again tomorrow. I'll have another video. Bye!